Hey, this is my review for UFC 129. I did it already, but the audio. Anyway, I worked at the Kinks, so good to go. Alright, this card will take place over, we'll see every single fight, which doesn't happen. The prelims will be on Facebook from 6 to 8, and then at 8 o'clock they switch over to Spike TV for the bigger prelim fights. Then the main card is at 9 p.m., an hour early on pay-per-view. That's Eastern time. I think it's 2 hours difference from West. Yeah, pretty sure. So start at like 7 on pay-per-view in the U.S., I'm pretty sure. I mean, not in the U.S., in like Los Angeles and Vegas and stuff. Anyway, let's get to the preliminary card. I'm really excited for the show. So, first fight will most likely be a featherweight bout between Yves Jabouin and Pablo Garza. I'm going with Yves in this. It's not the biggest fight. All right. Then we have a lightweight bout, John Makdessi versus Kyle Watson for the Ultimate Fighter. Going with the Canadian, Makdessi. Then we have a middleweight fight, Jason MacDonald, the athlete, versus Ryan Jensen. Got to go with the athlete. He's coming off a broken leg. And he knows he can be cut, and he probably will be if he loses. So I expect another huge performance and end up pulling out the submission, maybe second, third round. Alright, then we have Ivan Menjivar versus Charlie Valencia, Bantamweights, which I believe is 135 pounds. So obviously, it's going to be good with these little guys going around like fucking pinballs. Hard-hitting pinballs. Alright, then we have a welterweight bout to finish off the card. Claude Patrick versus Daniel Roberts. I'm going Claude Patrick. I believe he trains with GSP. He's got a lot of potential. Yeah, I'm picking him. Alright, then that is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Facebook.com UFC page. There's a sidebar with images and stuff. It'll say live fights or 129. I'm not exactly sure yet. It's not hard to find. Look, you'll find it. Alright, so we move on to Spike TV's preliminary card. It's also on Rogers Sportsnet in Canada, which I'll be watching in HD. It features 2 welterweight bouts. First, Pierson versus Jake Ellenberger. Ellenberger's tough. Pierson's tough as well. Ellenberger has to be the favorite, but I'm going with Pierson. I think Pierson can do this. Hopefully he can finish him early. Alright, then we have Nathan Diaz versus Rory MacDonald. This is really a toss-up. Diaz has to be the favorite. I don't like to pick against Diaz, but since it's not Nick Diaz, I will go with the upset, Rory MacDonald. It won't be a huge upset, but it would be an upset. Alright, then we would switch over to the main card, 9 p.m. Pay-per-view, live. Our first fight likely to be a lightweight bout. Bocek versus Ben Smooth Henderson. Bocek, probably the most underrated guy at 155. Either him or Miller. Yeah, Ben Henderson though. Dude is good. He's tough. He's a great wrestler. Great jiu-jitsu. Impossible to tap out, which I think Bocek, that's obviously Bocek's strength. So I see a decision here. I'm going to go with Henderson though. It's my first American pick if you're keeping track. Alright. Then we have a light heavyweight bout most likely. Vladimir, the janitor, Matyushenko versus Jason Brilz. We gotta go with Brilz. I thought he beat Nogueira, and I just think Brilz is going to be too much for the grizzled vet, Matyushenko. Alright, then we have a light heavyweight bout, which I'm most looking forward to of anything on this card. Lyoto, the Dragon Machida versus Randy, the Natural Couture. Yeah, I really think Couture will push the pace. He looks more ripped than Machida does, even though he's turning 48 in 2 months. I think he'll push it up against the cage, dirty box, classic Couture style, and then eventually when he wears down Machida, you'll get that huge over-the-shoulder slam. Classic Couture. I think Couture is going to win it. I think it's going to be a tough fight, and I know Machida is going for the finish. Machida wants the knockout. His father basically told him, don't leave it in the judge's hands. If you do, you basically giving up the fight and you haven't won, stuff like that. Machida should listen, because I honestly think fighters need to do that. Dominating a guy for 5 rounds is, I mean, it's impressive, but you finish him, it's a lot more impressive. Alright, then we have our co-main event for the Featherweight Championship of the World. José Aldo Jr., the champion, versus the challenger, Mark the Machine Hominick. Hominick is in his home Ontario. The crowd is going to be huge behind him if the weigh-ins are any indication, and obviously the Canadian thing. You have 50,000 screaming Canadians, but I don't think this will phase Aldo. This is really a toss-up. Bocek and Henderson and Aldo and Hominick are pretty big toss-up fights. I'm going to go with Hominick for the upset. Call me crazy, but I think he might be able to do it. Although, if Aldo's smart, he'll take him down and go for the submission. Not right away, but after some kickboxing. Alright, then our main event for the Welterweight Championship of the World, George Rush St-Pierre versus Jake Shields. I mean, Jake Shields is being overlooked here, but the dude is fucking class. He's a good guy, and he's a great fighter. I've followed his career for a pretty long time, since Elite XC. He fucked up Paul Daly. He owned Paul Daly like no one ever has before or since. Just owned Dan Henderson. I mean, Dan Henderson probably beat him 2 rounds, but he dominated him for 3. He dominated Henderson for the last 3. Just rode him, made him his bitch. Yeah, Shields may not be the hardest striker, but he puts that pressure on you, and he has those unorthodox takedowns that are very hard to stuff. Now, having said that, I think GSP may get taken down a couple times, but he'll eventually stuff and knock the fuck out of Shields. GSP for the knockout. Like GSP said, don't blink. Which gotta make you even more happy if GSP said that. It's pretty obvious what he wants to do. I think he can do it, and I think he can say that he's going to do it and still pull it off. Yeah, like, I respect Shields, but no. So, this has been my UFC 129 preview card. I hope you're excited. Get your, you guys gotta watch this. Get your chips, your pop, your low-fat, healthy snacks, your trail mix, your nutty granola, yogurt. Get the salad bar going. Get the fucking steak going. Get whatever you want. Get your beer. I'm drinking beer. Me. I don't drink, man. I get big beer as a gift, and I'm gonna drink it, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Right now, I'm gonna drink this water, though. UFC 129, Spike TV, 6 p.m. If you're a hardcore fan like myself, or sorry, not 6, Spike TV, Facebook.com at 6 to 8, Spike TV 8 to 9, which I think is must-see for any MMA fan, and then at 9 o'clock, the pay-per-view. Come on, this is going to be the biggest show in MMA history, UFC history. Just the crowd alone is going to make this worth it. Take the Montreal crowd. This crowd is twice as big, and like almost half of the Montreal crowd was people from Ontario, the craziest people. I mean, yes, Quebecers are crazy, but I put Ontario a little bit above it, at least Toronto. So we got this big Canadian worldwide UFC event. We got Randy Couture and possibly his last fight ever. Forgot to mention that, which is another reason we should not miss it. We have Hominick versus Aldo, which is going to be probably a kickboxing clinic. Let's face it, there probably won't be a lot of takedowns, even though it would be the smart move for Aldo. And you got the world title match in GSP. I mean, watching GSP, it's like watching someone from the future fighting guys 10, 15 years behind him. I mean, normally it's like that, but I think Jake Shields is unorthodox enough. It's going to be a good fight. It's either going to be a war, or GSP is going to score the huge knockout. Either way, the crowd's going to go ape shit. You're going to go ape shit. Everyone's going to like it. So get your snacks, get your friends, go to the bar. It's affordable if you're creative. You can make it work, people. UFC 129 tonight. The pay-per-view starts at 9. Prelims start at 8 on Spike TV. Pre-prelims, 6 p.m. on Facebook.com, which is UFC page. I gave you all the information. I hope you're hyped. These fights are going to be fucking excellent. There's not a bad fight on there. From the prelims down, I mean, the prelims up, there's nothing really bad. There's a bunch of great and good shit, but yeah. Enjoy the fights. I've been Sean, and later.